The story of this forbidden anime begins at a concert where our boy drummer admires Madoka's marvelous musical performance. He can't believe how many people are watching her perform, and because of this, his admiration for her grows even more. Many people admire Madoka, not only for her musical talent, but also for her beauty. However, that is only secondary for drummer, because what matters most for him is her passion for music, something he believes they both share. He has had a crush on her for a very long time now, and that night might be his best chance to finally reveal his feelings for her. After the concert, drummer goes to a party exclusive for the entire band camp people, where his best friend greets him. Now, drummer doesn't usually go to these social events because he's more of a stay-at-home kind of guy, but this is a special occasion. Why? Well, it's because Madoka's attending. Just like our boy, Madoka seldom attends these social gatherings as well. For anyone who admires her, it is an opportunity to see her up close and even speak with her. Of course, his best friend sees through his intentions and teasingly calls him out for it. However, what he tells him next rocks him to his core. According to drummer's best friend, he already missed Madoka. He says she got sweet-talked by 3 guys earlier and is already probably having a 4-way cultural appreciation session with them as they speak. Drummer is shocked to hear that because he doesn't believe Madoka is someone who would do such a thing. However, his best friend immediately looks down on him in disbelief, asking if he has never heard the rumors about her. Bestie says that Madoka's image as a beautiful, friendly, and well-raised lady is nothing but a facade. According to the rumors, once her cultural switch is flipped, she goes after the band member that catches her eye so she can show off how skillfully she can play bagpipes. Madoka would even use her karaoke skills to expertly tune that member's tuba, and for the finale, she would even stray from her usual style of performance and go on to have a virtuoso cultural concert without following the standard protection protocols. It's rumored to be an out-of-this-world jamming session for sure. Drummer is utterly devastated. His world comes crashing down as his hopes are crushed. He feels like the world he lives in was a lie all along. He can't believe that all this time, his belief that Madoka was the only unsullied member of their group wasn't true. Unable to bear it anymore, drummer does the only thing that can help him cope at the moment, and that's to sissy boy run out of the establishment. He cries his heart out, expressing his disappointment at Madoka for not sharing the same passion as him. He goes to the concert hall and lets out all his frustrations on the drums. He now believes he's the only one pursuing music in their group. Everyone else is just interested in their cultural needs. Then, all of a sudden, he stops after hearing someone play the piano. When he looks, he is surprised to see that it's Madoka. He immediately asks her why she's there, and Madoka says she went to the party to find someone she likes, but got caught up with some nobodies, so she ran away from them. Realizing he's acting a little distant because he might have heard the rumors about her, Madoka calls drummer out for believing them. However, she then lets out a sinister smile and says they might not be entirely wrong. Madoka then surprises drummer with a quick CPR demonstration. Drummer is shocked and asks why she would do such a thing. Madoka then says she loves his performance so much and how passionate he is about it. She says seeing someone perform at that level makes the culture within her go out of control. While saying that, she reveals the gate to her dungeon, which is already overflowing with holy cultural water. No longer willing to waste time, Madoka summons drummer's sword hero and lets it perform a concert inside her dungeon. She notices his reaction and immediately figures out that it's his first dungeon concert. She asks him what kind of music will play out. She then asks him to dance with her in a scorching cultural symphony. As they continue with their cultural rhapsody, Madoka notices drummer isn't using his full strength, so she teasingly mocks his performance to encourage him. Unwilling to let his passion for the cultural arts be looked down upon, drummer flips the situation and takes the lead. He is now the conductor, dictating the tempo of their cultural crescendo. He grabs hold of Madoka's mighty twin personalities, clinging to them as if his life depended on it. He then gives her a taste of his double pedal skills, making Madoka let out plenty of high-pitched cultural sounds. Drummer easily manages to find the right rhythm and makes Madoka hit those high notes easily. Repeatedly hearing her soprano voice in such a heavenly way eventually makes Drummer struggle to keep the culture within him under control. Eventually, when the time is right, both reach their limit and are unable to stop themselves from stepping on Legos. As Madoka tries to catch her breath, she is surprised that Drummer suddenly wants an encore. She thought he's already spent all his energy, but she's totally wrong. Instead, what she sees in front of her is a guy who has totally lost against the culture within him. Drummer only has one thing in mind, and that's to teach Madoka a lesson for prioritizing her cultural needs over her passion for music. So he goes all out, throwing away every bit of his gentle nature outside the window. He shows Madoka the reason why he is the best drummer in town, using a continuous barrage of flash beats at 180 beats per minute. The sudden shift in Drummer's tempo makes Madoka's mind go blank, and it doesn't take long for her to lose all her senses and step on Legos once more. The next day, Drummer's best friend apologizes to him for spreading the rumors he shared about Madoka. He even asks if he could treat him to some food to make up for what he's done. Drummer doesn't seem to mind what happened, and although he appreciates the gesture, he declines, saying he has somewhere to be. Just as his bestie is about to ask what's going on, Madoka shows up and says she and Drummer already have plans for that day. She also thanks him for the advice he gave about Drummer. Elsewhere in the city, Jiro tells Kyuko that he got perfect scores in all his exams again. He then reminds her about the reward she's promised him. Although she's trembling, Kyuko shows him the pink gate she's hiding. Jiro lets out a smug smile and calls Kyuko out for having a pretty plain cover for her pink gate. As if talking to an outside observer, Kyuko explains why she's willingly exposing her sacred treasure to Jiro. Jiro belongs to a wealthy family, and she recently became his private tutor, even though he is actually smart enough not to need one. Jiro manages to ace all his exams, which greatly impresses Kyuko. She even points out that she won't be needed there for long. However, after hearing this, Jiro makes an absurd offer that will completely change her world. He asks her to give him extracurricular lessons so she can keep tutoring him. He points out how she's struggling with her living expenses and how hard it is to find a job as good as what she has now. He makes it clear that it will be a huge loss on her part if she ends up not being needed there. The extracurricular lessons that Jiro wants require Kyuko to teach him something about herself every time he gets a perfect score in his exams. At first, it was just simple, harmless details about herself, but things eventually escalated, and it has reached a point where she's now showing him some of her sacred treasures. Jiro then asks what Kyuko would tutor him next and suggests they should have a practical lesson. At that moment, Kyuko notices her heart is throbbing, making her assume she's taken a liking to their extracurricular lessons. She even finds herself wondering if things will go the same way in her cultural Wattpad stories. Her imagination goes out of control, and she can't stop thinking about the many cultural things he was going to make her perform. Although she knows she shouldn't condone such acts, she can't help but look forward to them, making her wonder if she's actually a cultural person. Then, the fateful day arrives. Kyuko stands in front of Jiro's mansion, ready to tackle whatever cultural acts he might have in store for her. She's well prepared that day, wearing her lucky underarmors, and she even cleared the jungle in front of the entrance of her dungeon. However, much to her surprise, she finds Jiro sulking in his room, crying in front of his exam papers. It turns out that he failed to perfect his exams because he was thinking about their extracurricular lessons so much that he couldn't sleep and focus on his exams. Frustrated seeing him drown in self-pity, Kyuko snaps at Jiro and shows him everything she's done to prepare for that day. Since he feels he doesn't deserve such a reward, Kyuko switches gears and takes the lead. She quickly summons his sword hero and shows off her karaoke skills on it. Of course, it doesn't take long for our boy to lose control and accidentally let his sword hero spill some of its mana. After that, Kyuko shoves his sword hero into her dungeon, saying it's the consequence of him failing to perfect his exams. Kyoko lets out plenty of cultural sounds as Jiru's sword hero explores the deepest regions of her dungeon. In no time, Jiru loses control again and accidentally deposits a huge amount of mana inside the dungeon. Since the culture within her is still at alarming levels, Kyoko asks if Jiru wants to keep exploring, and he doesn't hesitate to take her up on her offer. As he's exploring the deepest sanctums of her dungeon, Jiru reveals that he had fallen for her the first time they met. He then admits he had to resort to cheap tricks like their extracurricular lessons because he doesn't know how to get closer to her. Touched by his honesty, Kyoko gives Jiru a surprise CPR lesson and says she'll gladly teach him everything about her starting that day. Not long after that, Jiru reaches his limit break once again and floods the dungeon with his mana again. As for Kyoko, her brain shuts down as the torrent of mana surges to the deepest regions of her dungeon.